All right. Hello, everyone. It is day one of Get Your Body Back Now. Get your body back now and keep it and love it for the rest of your years. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited about this 2 day experience. This experience just came from and was birthed from just number one, my years of witnessing what I witness in the health space as a movement specialist. But it also has just come from even my own journey and just understanding how you can get that body back because it's such a hot topic, if we want to say it like that. It's a hot topic. And I'm just going to, just be here for just a few minutes while we allow all of our friends to join us from wherever you're joining us. We have this streaming on multiple platforms. So I'm going to give it just a minute before I jump into just a little bit of housekeeping. So, but again, this is just birthed from hearing so many voices come through my doors over my years of teaching about weight management, weight loss, and this desire to get their body back, and the frustrations that I have witnessed that are truly unnecessary when we get down to really the source of who we are. And so we're really diving into the diet industry. And I'm going to get through this whole event, this experience with you, being able to say the word diet because diet makes me cringe. Because we are not, diet is banned from our vocabulary here at Conscious Strong. We don't use the word diet. And I will explain a little bit more why as we move along. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into the housekeeping so I can really stay true to the time here. So this is a 2 day experience. Today we are going to talk about more around the industry of diet, and then we're going to jump in and go a little on the deep side, or good deep side, of the myths and the realities of the diet industry and how it possibly is showing up in your life and affecting you. Okay, so a little bit of housekeeping is that for the first 45 minutes, let's say, I am going to share, I'm going to talk, but what I do invite each and every one of you, no matter where you are watching this from, is to, number one, take note. So make sure that you have a pen and paper so that you can maybe jot down some ahas that show up for you that relate to you. Maybe there is something that cues you to go, haven't tried that. I really want you to tune in and listen, whether you're watching the recording or whether you're here with us right now live. So just take note. Also take note of your questions. I am, just because of how it's streaming today, I am going to leave my private chat open for anyone that is here in the live room. I want you to only use that private chat to ask me the questions because that is what I'm going to have open. All of you wonderful friends that are watching this on a different platform, whether it is YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, I want you to just put your questions, either in the chat, but just know that I will have to circle back around and I'll get back to those after we are finished here together. Okay, so for those of you that are here, use the private chat. And for those of you who are watching elsewhere, I want you to put your question in the chat and just know that it will take me a minute. So I will not be addressing them just immediately. And so I think that will cover it. If something pops up, just please, jot your questions down in your notebook. That way we can just make sure that you get your answers, the answers to those questions that pop up for you. All right, are we ready to dive in? Okay, so what we have to cover first, or what we are going to cover first, if I have your permission, is that we're going to take a look at the diet industry. Now, this is global, friends. This is the global, these are statistics here. These are going to be facts. Blows my mind away. The diet industry, the weight loss or weight management industry, was valued in 2020 at 92.2 billion. Okay, guys, we're over $1 trillion in the weight management, weight loss industry, and that blows my mind. So I'm saying over a trillion because that was 2020. I mean, how many of you have heard of, I'm going to say the COVID 15 or the COVID 20 or the COVID 50, right? Everyone seems to have gained a lot of weight over COVID, during COVID. So let me tell you, you can just add that, especially, I mean, you can add or note that we have definitely surpassed the $1 trillion mark in this global industry. What is more shocking to me, well, I guess it's not shocking, is that the US alone, it is one of the largest, to no surprise. And this was in 2019 that the US was valued at $78 billion. Okay, look at the difference. That was 2019. This is 2020, 92.2 billion and 78 billion. Okay. Hello. Okay, you guys, we our US people, we're going to get it together. All right. So let's all tune in and listen. But those are just, in my view, just staggering at how much this industry is making. And it too makes me just cringe just a wee bit, like the diet word. Okay, so now we're going to look at, what does the diet industry encompass? So we've got diet foods. Those are those shakes out there that all of you are trying, and those nutrition bars and those protein bars and those prepackaged foods, all of those foods that encompass this diet industry. Then there are the programs. We have the Jenny Craig's, the Weight Watchers, and various programs that say that they will help get you the results that you desire. How many of you have been on one of those programs? How many of you have been on one of those programs? Many, many, many. I've had so many clients that have gone in and out of those diet programs. And then what's exploding right now? Fitness and exercise. Well, the last one really is, but fitness and exercise, everybody's grasping at, like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go, try this new cool fad workout because my friend lost all of this weight. And what happens? It's just like the New Year's resolution. That motivation wanes very, very quickly, very, very quickly. Then there are the infamous diet books and apps. And I don't know how many clients, I could probably just say almost, it's like 90% of clients that I have worked with have said, Lauren, I have tried every single diet book there is. If it's out there, I have tried it. Now we've launched into the app world, where apps. How many subscriptions have you purchased thinking it's going to help you balance your calories? It's going to help you know what your BMI is and all of that. Recipes galore. Everybody loves recipes, and the apps are claiming now that they can give you that support. And some are, I'm not going to knock all of them. I would consider myself a little app junkie. But when you fall into the trap of the diet books and the apps, it's staggering. But anyway, this is what builds that $1 trillion industry. And so there are some challenges, though, that are happening right now. And the big one that I see, and one that we are going to have a long conversation about today, is the long-term success rate. It's just like the New Year's resolution wanes. You fall off that wagon. It only lasts for so long. And did you know that if you have been on some diet, that the odds are half of you are going to gain that weight back. So in 2 years, you will have gained half of that weight back. Let me say that better. Didn't get that out. Clearly, I don't have notes. So I'm just like, this is Lauren. You're getting Lauren live. So those that have lost weight on a diet, okay, I'll say it more slowly, you will gain half of that weight back in 2 years. And here's the deal. In 5 years, you will have gained 80%. And I honestly feel like that's more 100%. and for the majority of people. And then you have this change in consumer preferences. So, with all of the noise that we have out there today in this diet world, and claims, and we're all tuning in a little bit more, is that we are looking at more holistic approaches. We are wanting to go more natural. I think it's just not knowing how to go more natural, looking at this sustainable approach. And this is what we're going to deep dive into today. And then we have the body positivity movement. This body positivity movement, missing the E, but the movement, this is a huge and much needed, is that how can we start to accept body shapes instead of it having to be this picture perfect, whether it's Barbie, thanks to the new movie that's out, whether it is, just the following the models of the day. I grew up just post Twiggy, where everybody was so pencil thin, and it was the fat-free craze, which we know was just a complete disaster for our health, total disaster. In my personal view, I feel like that has led to the definite increase in dementia and Alzheimer's, but that's a whole nother topic. But we are needing more body positivity. We need to be more accepting. Okay, curves are beautiful. Curves are beautiful. Okay, and here I'm just going to bring forward some challenges, and just a few of the areas that I have seen that I feel are most prevalent from the conversations that I've had. And the big one with those of us that are post 50, even 45, is that you're dealing with metabolism and hormonal changes. And I shouldn't say just 45 and 50. I shouldn't put it in the perimenopausal and the menopausal, era. I should put it also much lower, because I can tell you I birthed 5 kids, and those hormonal changes, and I gained over 60 pounds with each of those children. And I love you, children, but I gained over 60 pounds. And the hormones that came with that were very, very difficult. So the metabolism changes, the hormones go a little haywire, and that creates a lot of challenges. And then there are the health conditions that come definitely post 45, 50. You're dealing with more arthritis, joint pain, back pain, health conditions that come with just the aging process, especially if you're not taking best care of yourself and following best practices with your health. That is going to be tomorrow. We're going to really go deep into what you can start doing now that can help you start to find life again, just even outside of that amazing body that you have. Then there's the emotional support. And so for those of you, and I've had many come and challenge me on this one, oh, you just need to get it together. You just blah, 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 blah. Come on, guys. It is, if you're saying that this journey of building this relationship with your body, building this relationship with your food is not an emotional journey, then you've got your head in the sand. I'll just call it and be nice at that. Your head is in the sand if you say that this is not an emotional ride. It is an emotional ride. So we have to accept that. We have to validate that. So for any of you that are dealing with a partner, loved one, family member who is processing some of these heavy emotions, even just losing a lot of weight. I've had many friends and clients that have been blessed to have found the journey of weight release. And we're talking in the upwards of 100 to 200 pound release. You can't tell me that's not emotional for them. Anytime we release something, there is something missing. We have to rebuild that. We have to rebuild this relationship with self after you release even weight, okay? So it is an emotional journey, and so I'm here for you. This is what I love to do, and I am here to help establish that support system. Okay, we ready? So we're now jumping into the myths. So this is how we're going to spend the next, I would say, 45 minutes, and then we'll take a break. So these myths that we are dealing with in this diet world. Okay, the very first one. Some of these you may they may be obvious to you. You may feel them yourself. You may have, you may share the same philosophy, but some of them you may not. But it never hurts to revisit them. Fad diets are the key to quick weight loss. Hello, hello, big no. Fad diets are not going to give you the results. If you are following a fad diet, you are going to be that statistic that will gain at least half of your weight back by year 2. And I'm going to put that at higher and all, or if not more weight by that year 5 mark. Fad diets do not work. Again, diet is just a word that I wish we could all just remove from our vocabulary. This is a lifestyle. It is building a lifestyle with your food, a relationship with your food, not following some other program that is going to, you think, help you establish that relationship with you and your relationship with your food. We're going to dive more into that. And some of you may be challenged right now going, okay, wait a minute, Lauren, I'm not in full agreement with you. And that's totally fine. But what I have been finding in my desire to research and read and really nerd out on this is that so many people have nutrient deficiencies, and it has caused a lot of health concerns following these fad diets. I've had family members who, following a diet, and blood pressure skyrocketed and almost fainted by following one of those diets. I think, we've got the keto diet, we have intermittent fasting that is just like going on everywhere. We've got all of these diets, the Atkins diets, we remember that. And there are too many to name that I'm not going to even go down that path. But I want you to think, and maybe even right now, write down, how many of these fad diets have you tried? How many have you tried? And just think about that. Just take a second and write them down. Sometimes it's best to see them, like put them down. Maybe you can even rank them. How did it work out for you? And if it was successful, that is amazing, super amazing. There are success stories in every aspect of life. The next is that carbohydrates make you gain weight. No carbs, don't eat carbs. No carbs. Come on, you guys, carbohydrates are an essential part of energy for our body. It's just finding the right carbohydrates for you to nourish yourself. And again, today, the industry has become the marketing industry around food has become so savvy that it can trick you. It can trick all of us to think that just because the packaging looks like it's super healthy and low carb and whatever you want to call it is not really accurate. So you have to be so careful and knowing what you're putting inside of you. Choose healthier carbohydrates, whole grains, and your fruits and your vegetables. And to stay away. I think we all know in in theory, the majority of, we know because it's out there, it's just very difficult for us to refrain from the sugar and those processed foods because they are just so definitely forward in the aisles of our grocery stores. And the packaging can fool you. So just be really mindful of not eliminating carbohydrates. You really do need them. You need that energy, but the key is choosing the right carbohydrates. And again, around all of these myths and around everything that I'm saying, please take note. And again, put your question wherever you want to, and then let's chat about it if you have the desire. Skipping meals helps with weight loss? Absolutely not. No, do not skip your meals. Again, I'm going to go back to, this is a relationship with your food. This is your relationship. We do not need to eat at 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. That needs to go away. That really does. You need to find what your, I'm going to call it your balance is, so that you feel like when you can shut off that hunger hormone. I'm not going to go deep into the hormones and all the language of the neuroscience behind it, but let's just keep it simple here. Is that you need to learn how to regulate your meter. How hungry are you? Oh, I'm hungry, so let's eat. Skipping meals is not the answer. That is not the answer. What will happen is that you're going to crash. You're going to end up being so hungry. I know many people in my world, this happens all the time. They don't eat breakfast, don't eat lunch. And then when it comes, like mid-afternoon, there's the crash, hunger, and just, stuffing every single thing inside. And then it's like, I feel horrible. So it definitely has a huge impact on your metabolism, huge impact. This is where you'll start to see the belly fat. You'll start to see that excess, those inches start to grow. Not good. You need to eat regularly. But that's something that we can discuss too, is how do you know what is regular for you? I can help you with that. Okay, and then there are these certain foods that can burn fat. Okay, how many of you have heard, oh, well, cucumbers are going to help me burn fat, so I'm going to go eat a ton of cucumbers? Well, you just have to be careful. There really isn't a food that is going to do the burning for you. Literally, that is going to be you needing to do the work to burn to burn that fat. A food is not going to do it for you. And there's no such thing as a negative calorie food. So there are some that are obviously, if we go back to the last slide, in terms of choosing the right foods, eating raw vegetables, eating foods that are going to nourish you that way will help you, of course, start to feel the release of some of the fat. But there is no negative calorie food. So just let that go. You must not rely just on food to burn your fat. Food will cause the fat. All fats are bad for you. That is an absolute no. So we already talked about the fat-free zone, the fat-free period. I grew up in it, the 70s. I don't know if it started in the 70s, the latter 60s, 70s. Definitely the 80s was no fat, no fat, no fat. Well, that was a disaster. Again, as I said, that's impacting our brain health. It has definitely impacted our whole physical health. We need fat. We need fat. Interestingly, we have a friend here in our local area who is a neuroscientist and has done extremely well in creating product and in science, FDA approved products, that he said you have to eat your bacon, and not necessarily bacon, we got to put that in moderation. But his point was don't skip out on the bacon, don't skip out on the avocado. Those are so important for our brain health, so important for your brain health and your body function, your bodily functions. So please don't avoid fat. You need your fat. Nuts, avocados, olive oil, all very, very good. Detox diets cleanse the body of toxins. The body has its own detoxification system, right? You guys, we have our liver, kidneys, and our skin. This is what is going to help filter out any of these toxins that enter inside of you. Now, if you're not properly taking care of your system, just like you would take your car in for service, you have to do the same with your body, your physical body. You have to have a fully operating system in order for those organs to work well. So if you're clogging up your filter, you're not going to be able to flush out all of those toxins, and they end up kind of storing inside of you. Interestingly, another interesting conversation, you guys all know I love having conversations, is that I was with a client last night who worked for the EPA, very knowledgeable in his knowledge. If you're watching, thank you for that information last night about the air quality and how it enters into the lungs, and what, if you're not able, if it doesn't seep out and get back out into your bloodstream, then is going to be stored in your lungs. Not a good thing, right? So the same thing is with the toxins that come in. You need to make sure that your system is healthy enough to process it and flush it out of you. Most detox diets do not have the evidence that can be making the claim to cleanse your body. So those cleanses, just be mindful. Weight loss supplements are safe and effective. Okay, that industry is a whole nother one that is in the billions, probably trillions, but the supplement industry, there are just too many out there, and you were left with, who do you trust? What do you trust? I'm not going to say that all the supplements are bad. I think that we do lack some nutrients in our current food sources here, but you have to be very careful. Most are just fillers. Most are just going to just kind of, you're going to pee them right out. So you have to be mindful. It starts first with raw natural foods. Then, yes, if there are some deficiencies, there are definitely other ways that you can replenish and establish that balance in your in your nutrition, those vitamins that we need. And this is so true that healthy eating and exercise remains at the top. I mean, that is the most reliable method for weight loss, but also helping your body to maintain that nutrition support. Okay, you can spot reduce fat. How many of you have tried some spot reducing fat technique? The shaker, the endless sit-ups. I'm going to do 100 crunches, 100 we do not even say crunches here at Conscious Strong, but let's just say you're doing 100 sit-ups, or you're following your friend on Instagram who is doing all of these amazing workouts. Her body looks amazing. And you're saying, I'm going to get my belly as flat as hers. But that is not going to work. You guys, this is a whole body approach. You can't just target your biceps. You can't just target, yes, you can do some, of course, focused on, but if you're not doing the whole body, just focusing on your biceps is going to be worthless. So in order to achieve this weight release, or getting the body that you desire, really getting connected to your body, it's not going to just fall in one area, your abs or your butt. That is what I hear the most. I want my butt, I want to get rid of the cellulite, and I want to have strong abs. Oh yeah, I think I do want to have some definition in my arms. But it goes so much deeper than that. This is a whole body. And if you're not integrating the whole body into this system, or this desire to release your weight, it's not going to work. Then here's a big one. Eating after 8 p.m. causes weight gain. Now, I can tell you, I struggled with this. I grew up so religiously eating right at 6:30 with Wheel of Fortune, seriously. And so we learn, we have been trained and it's been ingrained that is when we need to eat, 7, 12, and 6. We need to release that. I've had the privilege of teaching in Italy, and they do not eat at 7. They do not. Nothing opens at 7. 8 o'clock is even stretch. Well, they're having dinner even 10 and 11 to midnight. And I can tell you, they do not have the obesity problem that we have here. The timing of your meals matters less than the total number of the calories. The total, what you're putting in you, portion size, that is what we are here to talk about, is how can you start to implement better portions and understanding your calorie counting without it becoming just obsessive. Then it's going to become more intuitive, and you will naturally be able to know. And this is tomorrow. This is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And it's more about just finding that balance. How active are you during the day? How much are you bringing in? And is that balanced? Just like anything, if you take in more than you're actively burning off, then you are likely going to gain weight. Okay, all calories are equal. All calories are equal. I think that all of us might agree to that being a myth. Maybe not. So while calorie balance is important, yes, it is. We need to understand it, just like we were saying in the prior slide. The source of those calories is what is significantly impacting your overall health. So, again, is it nutrient dense or is it empty calories, right? We know that sugar is not good for us, but sugar is in just about everything. So, that's a little bit of maddening that we have to figure out how much sugar is in this and, all of that. So, but all calories are not equal by any stretch of the means. Okay. So, understanding what that is. So we are here just now at 3:30. I kind of zipped through all of those myths. And this is when we are going to now take a little bit of a break. I went really fast. I can't help it. I'm talking super fast. But this is when I invite you to just take a break, digest all of the myths. If you didn't, I'll go back and show them to you if you didn't have a chance. And I want you to sit with them while you're taking a short break. Be sure to grab some water, be sure to, get that healthy snack and just really kind of sit with any of those myths that may have resonated with you that you feel maybe, if I have to say, you're still challenged with that relationship. You're still trying to figure out, like, wait a minute, let me go back to some about, well, how, what calories are nutrient dense versus those empty calories? What does that mean? Okay, my relationship, and that was mine, being okay with eating after 8. I actually do eat many meals now after 8 just because of my work schedule, but I'm not stressed out over it like I used to be. And you think about, like, when are your eating habits? And there's no right or wrong. And I did not open up that this is a judgment-free zone. We do not judge we don't judge ourselves. You don't judge others. This is a journey that we are all here to emotionally support one another. So any of these myths that maybe kind of came up for you that you are going, have a question about this, definitely hear supplements. I get supplement questions all the time. What supplements are good for me? Which ones do I need? Which ones don't I need? And it's very, very noisy, as I like to say, out there. And, maybe you're trying all of these detox diets and you're trying all of the fad diets, and you're just still struggling with knowing what's a healthy fat and how much of that healthy fat can you eat. And certain foods can burn fat. I'm just trying to go back, and you just, write down whichever relates you relate with as a myth that maybe you are following. Are you skipping your meals? Are you a no carb, believer? Are you on a fad diet? Have you tried all of the fad diets? Those are very common. These are all very common myths of dieting. And so I'm going to come off. I'm just going to scroll through these again and get to the end here. Is that I'm going to come off screen and I will join you here. And so, hi, I am back. So I know that was a lot of information. That was just a lot of talking, and it's not really my desire just to come and preach and talk. I really desire more, interactive situations. But for this event, I just felt like this was the best approach for right now, just because of the various platforms and those that have been invited. That we felt like this was the best way. So on that note, we're going to take just a quick break. And then when we come back, this is when I'm going to take all of the questions. I've already seen a lot of questions come through, and I invite you to bring your questions forward. So I definitely have someone here helping me. So as we try to navigate all of the different platforms that are being viewed right now, please drop your question in. And just as I said earlier, be patient. I will get back to your questions. If I don't get to them today, we will get to those. We will answer your questions at some point. Absolutely. But we'll do our best to scan all of the different platforms where this is being viewed today. But I do want everybody to take a break because that was a lot of information. I will kind of rest my voice. And when we return, we will cover all of those questions so that you can get those answers. Because what I do desire is having, I love gathering around the campfire. I love having conversations. And we will be opening up an event coming up soon where everybody will be live and it will be on this topic because it's a big one. So, again, this is day one of Get Your Body Back and Get Your Body Back for Good, because this is such a big topic that I've been hearing over all of my years, and the frustration of trying to determine what do you need to do? What do you need to do in order to release whatever, if it's weight or build more muscle mass or whatever it is that's bothering you about your body? That's what I am here to help with. So, everybody take a break. I'm going to just take a pause and then we'll come back here in 5 minutes. And then that's when we're going to answer all of the questions. Again, I've already seen quite a number of questions come through, and then we'll just bring those forward. And again, use the private chat. Use the private chat because that is where I am and I will see that first. I do have an assistant watching all of the other platforms, but that is something I can't see right here. So let's all take a break, and I will be back in just a moment. All right. No, I had to get up and stand and take a little break here. So we're going to come back. I know that the questions have been coming through, and I invite you again to just bring all of the questions that you have around your number one, not just your weight. I really struggle with that. If you can tell, I'm challenged because we need to release this idea that we just have to always be so conscious of just our weight. This is really establishing the relationship with your body, and it may be a new relationship with your body for whatever the reasons, especially when I start bringing forward some of these questions that I've had come through. And I thank you all for bringing these questions forward because they're super helpful. And just know that the question you ask is going to help somebody else. And that's what we are all in this space to do, is to help everybody else. It's in that community that I truly feel that we can all achieve the health, the life that each and every single one of us desire. So we're here really focused on that word, the D word, diet, which I don't like. As I said, it is not in our vocabulary here at Conscious Strong. It is not allowed. Because diet, in my view, immediately already has you saying there's something wrong with you. And so if we can just bring that forward, just first and foremost, the moment you feel like you have to go on a diet, what is that telling you? It means you're telling yourself you need to lose something. When you feel like you need to lose something, as I said earlier, even if you have been, if you've been successful in releasing some weight, that is an emotional journey. None of us want to lose something. So immediately when you say, I need to go on a diet, then that's already setting yourself up to not be successful with your weight release. So the number one question that I really have been getting, not just here today, but what I hear a lot is, for my women that are 45 plus, that have gone through this hormonal shift. It's a transition. The body is transitioning. It's moving into its next chapter. There is an acceptance to that, but there are so many things that you can do when you have reached perimenopause and menopause. And it's probably been, as I wrote down quite a number of the questions that were coming through, is that a lot is centered around my hormones and how do I balance my hormones with food. And it can't be with just food, you guys. So, a lot of the questions were, well, what can I eat to help balance my hormones? And I have to just tell you right now that it cannot be with just food. We have to move our bodies. We have to. So it's that relationship with your nutrition and with your movement, and finding what that balance is for you is what is going to help you balance those hormonal symptoms that may be popping up. And a lot of the symptoms is definitely adding those excess inches that none of us really like, the muffin top, the excess little overflow that many of us have. We are all going to have it. So as I said, there is a little bit of acceptance there. But for those of you who really have reached a point to where your weight is concerning, and you do feel like it is attributed to your hormones. And it doesn't mean that you have to be going through menopause or perimenopause. It means that, yes, your hormones are affected because of some, of maybe your life circumstances, stress levels. Those can have a tremendous impact. So it doesn't matter what age you are, or if you're still having your menstrual cycle, we know that those hormonal times really cause us to seek out, more that can unfortunately have us gain more weight. So definitely it is, as we have shared earlier in going through the myths, is that what you choose to put in is going to have a tremendous impact. We know that when we are going through those hormonal changes, that we desire comfort food. And I'm just going to keep it simple like that. We desire comfort food. How many of you have gone through, it's your, week before your cycle, and you are craving pizza? I know that's what I used to crave. I could eat a whole pizza, seriously. So it is learning to refrain from overindulging in foods that are not the best for us, and trying to supplement and retrain your palate so that you can start to build that healthier relationship with more nutrient rich foods. And that is going to help you all around. It's going to help balance out your hormones. But again, for those questions that have been asking mostly around food and helping to balance out your hormones, yes, you need to eat those nutrient dense foods. Your raw veggies are amazing. Just knowing what you are putting in your system, but you can't do it without moving your body. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Um, so all of you here, because we have a whole list of everybody that is joining us today, that you have registered. And if you haven't actually registered and you're just picking us up live here, just you can either DM me if you don't want to put your name in the chat, or just DM me and say you would like to have the food diary that I use here at Conscious Strong, that everybody will get a copy of that. Because what I do ask for everyone is to just be aware of what you are actually eating. Many of us go through our day and we're unaware truly of what we're just picking up and putting in our mouth. Even if we think that it's healthy, we may be putting things inside of us that are not. And awareness is key to anything, right? Awareness is key to living well and living that abundant life. And most of us are walking around very unaware. So I do have a food diary. If you would like a copy of that, you can just even put, yes, I would like a copy, put it in the chat, whatever platform that you're streaming from. If you're here watching it from the live stream, you can put it in the private chat here. So I see people private chatting. I see you. Yeah. So all of you will be getting a copy of that food diary, I call it, or a journal. But it's very useful in helping you just to be aware as you're going through your day. All right. So awareness is key. So another question that was coming up again, yeah, how can I manage menopause related symptoms through my diet? Once again, it's kind of, that's the same, is that, you really just be aware of the foods that you're putting in and truly get your exercise. As one of the slides shared, movement, exercise is so key to overall health and well-being. We can't do it with just our food alone. Okay, so how should I modify my diet to support brain health and reduce the risk of cognitive decline? We talked about that. Absolutely. Your good fat sources, we need them. Those avocados, your nuts, eat, the occasional, I do eat meat. I respect anyone who is vegan and does not eat meat, but if you do eat meat, make sure that you're eating really quality meat. Know where it's coming from. But you do need fat. You do need to eat those healthy omegas. You can get that through your fish sources. Again, it's just being aware of where your food is coming from. And I think that is number one. But definitely for our brain health, we have to have it. Another is just making sure that you're hydrated. I think a big factor in our cognitive decline is that we are all walking around dehydrated. So it's making sure that you're drinking enough water, making sure that you're hydrating enough, because I do feel like it's very easy to miss out, and sodas are not it. We know that sugary drinks, no. Really build a relationship with water. And there are some others. Add some lemon, and anyone that has any suggestions here. I know that I love to drop a little mint in my water. Find some lemon and just put some, find what your taste buds really like, and how that can help quench your thirst. But please hydrate. So your fats and and your hydration is going to help support your cognitive health. But guess what what I'm going to also say? You've got to move your body. You have to move your body. So all of these are, I'm going to always back with, you need to move. You are going to have to move. But yes, okay. So thank you, Anne, for that question about brain health. Very, very important. How can I improve my energy levels and combat fatigue with my food? Huge. Thank you so much, Sally, for that question. So for me, and again, this is where the food diary and what I ask, and it goes beyond just a diary. It really is discovering what foods you like. Let's start there. Make a list of all of the foods, your favorite foods, even if it's the foods that you know that probably are not great for you. Write them down, because what we want to uncover is the why. Why is that ice cream so good? Like, why? Why is that pizza just, I could devour the whole thing? Why? What is it about the taste? What is it about the texture? Because, guys, this is key in building that relationship with your food. When you start to uncover why that tastes so good, and some of these may, predate your memory, and likely many of them do. But when you start to really understand, again, awareness is key. When you start to understand what you love and why, and what starts to come out, you start to feel that love relationship. Again, don't worry if you know that it may not be the best food for you right now. That is going to help you uncover what foods are good for you, that then you can start to implement, you can start to supplement, better said, with those foods that may not be the healthiest for you. So the first is just to really start to understand what food you love. I love Mexican food. I also love sushi. So do you see, just start to play with it. What are your favorite foods? I love lasagna. So just first of all, just make a list of those foods. Okay. So we're talking about how to supplement, how to maintain your energy levels. Once you've established what foods you like, then we can break it down so that you can understand how to spread that food out so that your energy levels are balanced. Because it's usually when we devour a lot of sugar. Let's just say you devour, those breakfast bars in the morning, and then you're wondering why you're crashing and burning at noon, or you hear that 3 o'clock burnout. And that is because we're probably putting in those unhealthy carbohydrates that are then now going to the crash and burn. Sugar, again, is like just a no-no. Please, if there's anything that I can say to really work on eliminating out of that diet, out of your nutrition relationship, and that is sugar. Because that will immediately have your energy levels doing this thing. So we are looking for that optimal balance in our energy levels. Again, it's coming from all of those healthy foods. Now, I know only mine. I do know some of my clients, but they're not here with us in the room, is that I have to graze. I'm a grazer. If I don't graze, I will have my energy do this thing. It may not be super extreme, but I do have a little bit of this. So I personally know that I have my snacks, I have my nuts, I have the things that I can eat. I have the privilege of being able to eat cheese. I love cheese. I don't overindulge with cheese, but I do eat cheese, and that gives me a little boost. So I just know what works for me. This is what you need to uncover. What works for you? All right. So, Susie, that's the answer to that question, is really understand what foods you love first. Then let's pull from those foods that you love the snacks or the meals that can help you maintain that energy level without it being so heavily fluctuated. I hope that answers your question. Feel free to reach out to me in a DM, or, set up a call with me, and I'd be happy to deep dive a little bit further into that. Okay, so are there any specific anti-aging foods that I should consider incorporating into my lifestyle? Well, I mean, this is all going to go back to almost the same theme. So you're going to start to hear your raw vegetables. You really want to eat as, natural as you possibly can. I am a fan of organic foods. We have to know where our food is coming from, because as we were bringing up the toxins earlier in a different context, but flushing toxins out, if we're just constantly putting toxins in, and we know that, all of our produce, unfortunately, that is, produced here in masses, there are a lot of pesticides being used. We have to be very careful. So again, it's knowing where your food is coming from. And so I am a fan of organic for that reason. So if you can eat natural, raw, as organic as you can, and really be conscious of what you're bringing in that potentially could have some, the toxins coming in with it, that is going to help with, of course, that aging process. Then again, you need to hydrate. What I see and what I personally feel when I am dehydrated, this starts to show and I start to feel it. Kind of feeling a little bit of that today. But it's being aware, being aware. And so hydration, raw, natural foods, and and then as organic as you can, to eliminate as many of those toxins. That is going to help with your your anti-aging processes related to the diet. I mean, to the foods. Now, again, as I'm going to say, I'm going to back it with every probably one of these questions, is that moving your body. We have to oxygenate our body. That is definitely one of the best ways to flush out our toxins, and the best way to help with the aging process all around. So, really nourishing your breath. The breath is free. We have it with us at all time. And if you really can activate deep breathing exercises, number one, that's going to help you with your metabolism. It's going to help you with everything, and especially with aging. We, for some reason, get caught in our, in our short breath stress states more often, especially even the older we get with the more responsibilities. But just be mindful of definitely your breath and your movement. Okay, so what are some tips? So thank you, Debbie, for this one. What are some tips for eating out and making healthier choices at restaurants? That's a tough one. That is a really tough one. And I don't know how many of you travel on a regular basis. I know for a while there, I was traveling a lot. And man, did I find it hard to find healthy options. They're out there. They are out there, but we have to be, again, the awareness is there. We have to be aware of what we're putting in us, because we see more fast food than we do, really nourishing, restaurants. But they are out there. So what I recommend, and this is something that I do when I am, practicing, when I'm out on the road or when I'm eating out, I usually always look at the menu before we go out with friends, or even if we just go out, if I go out with my husband or my family. I always look at the menu first. I scan it. It's not anal retentive. It is just simply, I like to look at the menu. From that, let's go back to the foods that you like, right? What foods do you like? And then you look at the menu, and then you decide, okay, based upon what you like, because you have to like what you eat. You can't go out and eat bark and be satisfied. Eating should be a very beautiful experience. It should not be one that you resent, or you just don't, it's like, oh, I'm just going to get it over with. You can't just pull up to the gas station, plug in, like I know many people do. You have to enjoy your food. You have to enjoy the experience of eating. And so going out to eat is amazing. You should not fear it or resent it, but just do the, pregame, read the menu, and then find what you like. Then let's break it down and determine, okay, what's the nutritional value in this? Like, I let's just say we love going out to our favorite Italian restaurant here. And yes, if I look at the menu, and yes, I do love sausage, but am I going to eat a whole lot of sausage? No, I just know that that ideally is not probably the best for me. So a little bit is okay, but I literally will look at the menu before I go and do this kind of processing of like, what do I love? Ooh, what's going to be really good? Ooh, I can't wait. Ooh, that's going to be really good with, I love a glass of red wine. So make it enjoyable and don't make it frustrating. That's number one, because the frustration will probably cause more pounds than the actual food. But then it is making those choices. If you are having to eat on the fly, all places now seem to at least be incorporating something. May not be ideal when you're driving on the road and the only options are some of the fast food places. That's okay. There are options there, but just look at the menu. Always look at the menu before you get there, and that is going to help you make better choices. Okay. And again, just if that, I hope that answered your question. I hope that answered your question. Okay, are there specific nutrients or supplements that I should consider as I age? Well, and thank you for that question. I know that we've been talking about that. So definitely, again, it's going to fall back into I'm just trying to, kind of the thing. It really is just going back to that eating really raw, natural, as organic as you can foods. That is what is going to help this whole aging process. So you're starting to really hear a big theme. I know it's really, feeling repetitive, but these are all just tremendous questions. So, yeah, I think it is definitely eating more of the raw, natural, and nutrient dense foods that you like, and understanding what you like. So that is going to help. The supplements, that is going to come with you being in tune with your body. That, in my view, is just body awareness and knowing when you're starting to fatigue and what your body is, how your body is responding. And again, it really does, it's awareness. And so establishing, I'm going to venture outside of the food part of it, the nutrition side of it, but it's understanding yourself. And the more you can be mindful and do some mindfulness practice, I can tell you that is going to help you establish the awareness of what your body is feeling and how it is responding to whatever you are putting in your body. I know immediately when I have had something that my body doesn't like. I have a few things that just show up. So I go, my body, I don't want to eat that again. I don't stress out about it. I have so much awareness that I now know, well, I will avoid that moving forward because my system didn't like it. So that's what I'm asking all of you. And thank you for that question. But that is, again, raw, natural, as organic as you can. But the biggest is awareness. And then you're going to need to move your body. That's going to make a big difference too. How can I reduce the risk of heart disease and other age-related health conditions through my diet? Okay, it's again, same song. First of all, I'm going to ask again, and this is something that I don't hear many people, coaches, or books, or fad diets out there saying, is that really establishing that relationship with your food and what you love. Denying yourself is probably the worst thing that you can do, even if it means that it's a slower process. Just going cold turkey, in my perspective, is not the approach that you want to take. It is approaching it from, I love, Mexican food. Now, what can I have that is healthier, that supports me, that my body can support as well? instead of it's denying and pushing away. So I kind of went a little on the side there. But again, it's, for that question to help with your heart, it's like really, again, raw, natural, and as organic as you can. Move your body, definitely related to that in terms of heart health. You have to move your body. You cannot be sedentary. I don't care how healthy you so called eat. You have to move your body, and that can be it can be accomplished beautifully with just breath work. So once again, eliminating the stress, I'm introducing a little bit more because we're talking about heart, is that you really want to eliminate stress and anxiety, as you're also processing through what it is that you are going to nourish yourself with. uh, let's see. What How can I maintain a healthy weight and prevent weight gain as I age? Once again, so I know a lot of these are coming through because you can hear, everyone really does have a lot of questions. That's why I'm scanning a lot of these, because we covered so many of these questions. So it seems like the top areas that we are talking about, and why don't I do that? I'm going to start to kind of do a little summarization here of the theme: menopause and hormonal shifts. Okay, so that has been the majority of the numerous questions that I've had come through. So again, when you're balancing out the hormones and the symptoms that come with those hormonal shifts, is that definitely does require being aware, being number one aware, but truly really focus on those nutrient rich foods. Because if you're relying on those sugary and not so healthy foods, then that is going to really have a negative impact on your symptoms that are showing up with this hormonal shift that we all go through. I'm there. And so it really is being able to focus on hydration is key. Hydration in terms of balancing those hormonal shifts, because again, I have found too many of my women that I work with are really, really dehydrated, and that is showing up. So that is real. Those are the bigs, and then moving your body, moving your body. The second one seems to be around aging. So wanting to not age. And I know, ladies, we don't want to age and see our skin start to have lines and wrinkles and start to feel, we don't like that. But again, if you hydrate and you nourish with those right foods, then that is going to help your skin elasticity, help you maintain that collagen, help you. But first and foremost, it's having you feel healthier. With the more energy you have, the obviously the better your organs are functioning. Just like we were saying in one of the earlier slides about detoxification, if your organs are not functioning well, that is going to really speed up that aging process, really like fast forward it. So you have to release your stress levels. You have to move your body, and those are have tos. And then you really need to eliminate that stress and anxiety by finding some mindfulness practices in conjunction with nourishing your system and hydrating your system well. All right. And then the other was definitely around brain support, as well as just cardiovascular. Just making sure that your organs are functioning well, your system is operating well. And it's if it as I use the analogy of your car getting a tune up, you have to do the same. And that all starts with mindfulness. It really starts with you understanding who you are, because that's why the fad diets don't work. There is no cookie cutter approach to this lifestyle and this relationship with your food, with your movement, with anything that you're doing outside in your everyday acts of living. It is all you. You're unique. And so you have to really honor yourself and not try to conform to what, the media says you need to be doing, or what that new fad book has told you need to be doing, what Lauren's telling you need to be doing. I'm here to tell you, you have the answers within you. I can just try to help be this guide. And that is really the discovery path here, so that you can start to build that relationship with your body for good and release whatever it is, whether it is the emotional release or it is the weight release, so that you can feel good again and feel confident again. So that truly is really the number one takeaway from today that I would like to share from this fireside, this campfire here, this digital campfire chat, is to pause and really reflect inward. What foods do you love? Have fun with that. For those of you, because I have a number of people that I work with that love to do the vision boards, and that's great if that's your thing. Really have build that relationship with your food, your current relationship. What does that look like? Start to see if you're visual and you need to see that piece of pizza and it just makes you salivate and you get all excited. Do it. It's okay. So that's what I would ask for your homework for today, is to do that food discovery. And that would be a part of that food diary. If you have already dropped, we'll be sure to get that over to you. Just let us know. If you haven't registered and we don't have your email, just, either DM it or share it in the chat. But that is the first step. So that is your homework for today, is to really go have fun with it, go explore it, and, just enjoy that relationship with your food instead of denying it. Because then that work comes from then being able to go in and ask the question, why? That's a big exercise here that we do, is the why exercise, is really going deep into, why is it that you love that food? What does it, does it bring out a memory, which is more often than not. And then we go deeper under the hood. But this is something that you can start today. You literally can, is just to start, write a story around your relationship with your food, and enjoy every minute of it, instead of, being, feeling angry or feeling resentment or anxious. And I realize this, it can be, as we said, it's an emotional journey when you are reestablishing a relationship with your food or reestablishing a relationship with your physical body. It is an emotional journey. So you can't, again, you have your head in the sand if you say that it's not. So just honor that and be, I validate it. It's okay. But again, just that very first step is to be aware of what you love. Then you can start to ask that question, why, and go deeper into, now what can I start to eat to nourish myself? And we're going to also do this with movement, because again, as you guys know me, or if you don't know me, there is no way of processing anything without actually moving your body. It goes right there with the whole nutrition piece. And so if you are here to release something, to release some weight or some, emotional stress that is causing some of this weight or distress, then it really is that relationship with your movement, your physical, so that you can release and get back that body that you desire and find the balance. And so I think all of those questions, so I think I covered all of them, or the areas. So if anybody has any other area around, this relationship with your body that I haven't covered, please, there is one other, and this came from yesterday, so it didn't come from the questions that I got through today. And that is around the limitations. So I was having this conversation with another client, actually, around that there, or it was a conversation with a connection call around limitations. And she was so grateful to hear me say that there are no limitations. So, for those of you, because I hear this a lot, is that we do feel that we have our limitations that play a role in the impact on our body. And maybe it means that you've had surgery, you have, you've had something permanent. As I was sharing yesterday, I had a client who had a completely fused spine. I've had those that are paralyzed. There are no limitations. And so when I'm saying move your body, we find that movement that works for you. So that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, that's why I'm having a little moment of pause. But that's another big question I get in terms of, well, I was told, this is it would be a contraindication if I do this type of a movement. Let's discover what movement is right for you. And what I'm going to tell you right now that you can start right here, right now, is just the breath work. Breath work, breath work, breath work. I cannot stress that enough. Establishing that healthy breath work practice. And if you need a copy of that video, please just reach out so that you can start to incorporate that. Exercise alone is going to take you so far, no matter what you're doing. I find myself doing breath work as I am actually eating my food. It doesn't have to be loud. It does not have to be something that everyone around you has to be aware of. But again, your breath work, your breath is going to help you build that relationship to everything, including how you're nourishing yourself. I promise. I promise. And I would love to hear from anyone who says, wait a minute, that is making no sense. But because it really will work. If you pause, take a moment, do a little breath work before you go sit down and eat, it's almost like saying the prayer, right? It's like nourishing and honoring your food. You're going to have a much better relationship instead of having the mentality of wanting to pull up to the gas station, put in the pump, fill her up so you can get on with your day. That mentality, I promise, is not healthy, and that is not going to last long term. Okay, I feel like sometimes I go around and around, given that I'm bouncing around these different questions and topics. But I hope this was helpful. So this was day one, where we talked about the myths. So again, I'll just reflect back, going through all of the different myths. Maybe you have your own myths that you want to add to that. Process them and see what is showing up in your life that maybe is, oh, that's a myth. And then being able to, flush it out. And again, ask that question, why? Then it is building that relationship with the foods that you love, and do the food exercise of, writing down all of those amazing foods that you love that make you feel good. And then again, you can do the why exercise around that. Why does that food make you feel good? The ones that you may know that are healthy for you, even the ones that are not healthy for you. It's the act of uncovering. It's that awareness that is going to help you get to that next level of being able to then make those choices that will best nourish you so that you can get that body that you desire. And then that food diary, just again, taking it a little bit further, be aware of what you are actually eating. Be aware of even your shopping habits. But that is a whole different. So today was just really a lot of talk day. Tomorrow, yes, there will be more, but tomorrow is going to be really strategy day. These are going to be the tools and these techniques that you can start right now that can now implement some of the movement strategies that can help you start to very quickly. And I can tell you, doing it right, it can very quickly turn the mindset around that is going to help turn the body around. I will guarantee that. It takes work, but tomorrow I'm going to give you, I'm not going to overload you, but I'm going to give you definitely 3 tips that are going to help you start immediately to build that body awareness, to start to establish your relationship with your food and loving it, that is going to help you really get a head start so that you can get that body that you desire and keep it for good. All right. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to message me. You can DM, you can put in the chat. Because as I say, the more open you are in any of these platforms, you're helping somebody else. That's what this is all about. And that's why I chose to do this lengthier experience with you, is because the longer we start talking and the more questions that start coming in, the more that others start to see, it starts to expose the invitation for others to really come forward and be more vulnerable, because that is in this community where I feel that's the answer. That's where you really start to establish that relationship with whatever it is, your food, your body, your movement. It all really starts with community. It really does. We can't do any of this active living alone. We cannot do it alone. So I invite everyone to just really, think of helping others. And that starts with you sharing your questions and not being shy or timid. So I hope everyone has gotten something out of this today, and I would love to hear back from you. I will be here tomorrow, so 3 to 5-ish, however long we go. It really all depends on the questions that come through. But yeah, I'll be here from 3 to 5 tomorrow, and we're going to talk more strategy and how we can start to incorporate. And tomorrow, I am going to be opening it up live. So tomorrow, it will be a different link so that, hey, we can all show up together, because as I said, it all happens in the community. So I hope everyone will show up tomorrow. For those that want the link, or if you've registered, you will get the link for tomorrow, and we will all join together. And so it won't just be me speaking to you. We are going to all actually interact together, and we're going to make it fun. Okay, so I'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying here. I know that it was a long, even though we're still just going on 4:30 Eastern time. But I appreciate everyone who I can see that's been hanging out here, and I appreciate all of you who have shared all of your questions and your comments. And I'll see you tomorrow as a group, and can't wait. All right, make it a beautiful night. See you tomorrow.